Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different here in Ponytown and talk about locations here on the map, such as this location here. I personally have weird, wacky names for a lot of different places in the Ponytown map. For example, this place right here I like to call the Ribbon Square, because the Cult of the Ribbon used to hang out in this general little section of the map and stuff like that, and so I dubbed it the Ribbon Square, and I thought it was a fun little name, and there's other wacky, fun little names that I've made for all other sections of the map. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of those and talk about them a little bit. Again, that was the background for that one, so let's go ahead and take a look at another one. All right, so this section of the map right here, it is right in the far left, kind of up a little bit. It's by this beach here. This whole like little area in this general area where this Max dude is and this person here, this whole little area right here, I like to call the Pirates Cove. Part of why I like to call it that is because during Halloween we get this, or around that time of year or whatever like that, we get this little ribbon that comes from this little section all the way across, and there's bones hanging from it and stuff like that. And it's a cool little thing. It's very pirate-ish for some reason, but also there is a shipwreck down here as well, and so maybe theoretically a pirate ship wrecked here a long time ago and they made this into a little camp area or something like that. And so I like to call this whole little section here, maybe even in this water all the way up to this cliff up here by this Max person, as just Pirates Cove. And then of course right next to it we do get the shipwreck, and so I just like to call this the shipwreck area or something like that, and stuff like that as well. This little island over here, I like to call my stream island, because sometimes whenever I stream, I like to go to this tiny little island right here and just wait for people to gather around. And then this way, because it's away from a lot of people and stuff like that, because since it's away from a lot of people, I don't feel bad gathering a crowd for a stream or something like that. So I like to go to this little island whenever I need to wait for a large amount of crowds to join and stuff like that for the stream. So this is kind of just like my little stream, little island, I guess you could call it, little stream island. That's what I like to call it anyway. That's where I like to go whenever I'm waiting for people for a stream. Then of course we have the docks. The docks has its own little interesting setup and stuff like that. So if we come down here, this whole section from about right here all the way to about roughly right here, I like to call Billboard Row. This is because a lot of people like to advertise their regiments, their species, their different role plays and stuff like that in this whole little section. You can actually even argue that this little section all the way up to about right here is also Billboard Row, so it's kind of like a whole little corner and stuff. And then so that's why I like to call it that. But also this little section down right here, all of this stone right here, I like to call McDonald's. I'm not 100% sure why I ended up naming it that, but this little section right here I like to call McDonald's. Now another little thing, it's very small, but this little section right over here by these barrels I like to call home. This is my barrel home. It is my home away from home. It is my vacation home. Someone tried to steal it one time, but it's still my home. These three barrels right here, this person's covering up one of them, but there's three barrels right here. That is home. That is my barrel home. So yeah, there you have that. And yeah, so there's those. Of course, we got the marketplace. It's just called the marketplace. But interesting enough, if you come down here to the bottom left of the marketplace, this right here is the weed shop. That's because you can get some weed here. So if I just kind of get some these different bags here. There we go. We got ourselves some weed now. It's a weed stop. It's a weed shop. This little section right here, it's a little bit below the marketplace and stuff like that, but you have a couple of lakes here, so I would say from the very edge here, maybe around that bench over there, all the way over to somewhere in this general area, even like even in these clover patches and stuff. Speaking of which, there's a 4-leaf clover there. I like to call everything from this point all the way over, and I'll just kind of circle it in one big like thing right here. All of this right here is the park. I like to call it the Ponytown Park. It's got a very park vibe to it. I mean, you got some picnics here. You got some different lakes and ponds and stuff like that. It's very nature-ish, if that's even a word. Is that even a word? I don't think it is. There's a lot of nature around here and stuff like that. Some different resting spots for the benches and things like that. It's just one big park. It's always just felt like one big park to me, and so that's what I like to call it, is the park. This down here is meant to be a pool. I don't like that they call it a pool, but I guess I also call it a pool because that's what it's meant to be. But it's shaped really weird, and the diving board is like way too close to the fence here, so it's kind of awkward to get in here. Some people might not even realize you can go in between these because like walls act weird like that sometimes, but whatever. But yeah, you get the diving board and everything like that. It's just a swimming pool, nothing special. Right down here, can I even come through here? I don't think I can. I can't. I'm too fat. sad. This little section right here, from that little fence all the way over to right here, I like to call like a fruit bar or a juice bar or like a tiki bar or something like that, because it very much has that kind of vibe to it. You got a lot of different coconuts here, a fruit box up here, some benches and stuff like that for, you say, a restaurant. Maybe it's like a little type of restaurant or something like that. This is something that I always thought they might do eventually, is kind of clear this up a little bit and turn it into a proper tiki bar or a proper like small restaurant type thing where you can get smoothies or something else like that, because it definitely has that vibe to it, and I would love to see them do that. And I've always called this like a fruit bar or the tiki bar. That kind of general vibe is what I get from it, so that's what I call it. This little area right here where Kai, I don't know, whoever this person is, this little like small little pond here with these 4 benches here and this little circle right here, I like to call this the fountain, because when I originally designed this, I intended it for it to be like a type of fountain or something. Obviously there was no fountain that we could put here, maybe one day, I don't know, hopefully, but this was always intended to be some type of fountain or whatever like that, because in my mind, I was just gonna make it a little pond, and then it would be like a placeholder for eventually a fountain to be placed, but I don't think that'll ever happen. So I like to I just call it a fountain sometimes. If you ever see me saying that, calling this area a fountain or saying, oh, go to the fountain, this is what I'm talking about, because that's what it was intended to be. That's what I wanted it to be. Of course, it obviously never ended up happening. Okay, then you have this big bottom right area right here with these different stone items and things like that. This is just some ruins. I never really gave it a proper name other than just the ruins of Ponytown, just some random ruin somewhere. So that's what I like to call that. And then of course you have this like little water bridge right here, this little shallow water bridge right here, going into this little beautiful corner here. This was also really nice. This is kind of like a little romantic rose park, I guess is kind of what you could call this, is like a little rose park. Everything from this side all the way to this little island right here with the bridge. Again, kind of worked on this area a little bit. The spider was originally meant to go on your head here. Yeah, just like a little spider island, which is what I guess you could call it. And then of course, like this whole little area and this combined would be like a rose park. There's a lot of different rose bushes here, this water bridge thing here, and of course this little circle of roses here where you can sit at them and be all romantic with your, I'm not gonna say it, with whoever that is. You could be romantic together there and stuff like that. And so then you kind of come up from it and you get to this little flowerish area. So it's kind of like a little flower park in general. And then another little small hangout there as well. So yeah, nice stuff there. And of course, we're coming up to one of the most popular locations, something that people might call it this specific thing without realizing this is why it's called this, but the gay pool. This is the gay pool. This was the thing I named. I named it the gay pool. I don't know if anyone, like, some people call it that without realizing why they're calling it that or how that goes or whatever like that, but this is the gay pool. If you go in it, you're gay, or it sucks out all the gay and like it puts it to the bottom or something while also turning you gay. It's the lore is very weird and somewhat confusing. Some of it was made by me and some of it wasn't made by me, so it's kind of a mix, and that's why it gets confusing and stuff. There's an entire Wikipedia article for this on the Ponytown wiki. There's a sub article for it and everything. It's kind of crazy. It popped off and stuff. It's one of my favorite things. It's the gay pool. Then we have this area over here. This used to be, like, there used to be more trees here and stuff, if I'm not mistaken, because there wasn't originally these blankets and these checkered towels and stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, that isn't how it was a long time ago. And there used to be a couple more trees here and stuff like that. So people used to call it the fuck forest or the ERP forest and things like that, and so I may still reference it as that, but there is a lot of woods here, and what people used to do is they would go behind the trees and they would ERP, sometimes in public chat even, and sometimes they would just do it in whispers or in party chat or something like that, and you could tell they're doing it because of how they're moving around and stuff like that. It was very weird. It was one of those areas that you avoided in the game if you're on the 18+ server, but that's what it's called. Although I'm not really sure if it's called that anymore, because again, they cut down some trees. People don't really do that anymore because there's the party island now. And now we're coming up to the lake over here. Now the lake itself is just a lake, I guess. I never really named the lake itself, but I did name this little island here, and I ended up naming it the Pegasus Island because a long time ago you had to be a Pegasus to get to this island because swimming wasn't part of the game. You couldn't land in water, you couldn't step in water. You would come up to the edge and you would hit an invisible wall, and you couldn't get into the water because swimming wasn't available at the time. And so the only way to actually get to the island was either wait for winter for the water to freeze over so you could walk across, across, or just switch to a Pegasus and fly over to the island and land on there, and boom, you're on the island that only Pegasus can get to. And so I named it the Pegasus Island, and I've never named it anything else since. It's still the Pegasus Island in my heart. Okay, so if we take a look up here in the very top right of the map, there is a huge section here, pretty much from this corner all the way across and then all the way up, like this corner all the way to the bridge. All of this is just one big farm, if you think about it, right? Because you got the carrot farm here, you got some pumpkins over here that they're growing, but also they kind of just look like they're sitting there because they never they never updated it for some reason. And then you have some seating areas up in here and everything like that. This whole area right here is just one big farm, in my opinion, and so I just kind of call it the farm area. If you ever hear me saying, go to the farm, I'm talking about the top right section of the map. And right down here, this little pool of water and everything from this wall all the way up to this dirt path and all the way around and stuff like that is just the dev pool area. This is where you can find people like Octavia and Anna, who are supporters and like testers or whatever else like that. Sometimes you'll see, where is he? He might be over here somewhere. There he is. See, you can find Steuben, you can find Mio, I don't know, I don't remember how to say it. Mio, I don't remember how to say it. But like dev quality assurance people, developers, testers, all these kinds of different people that kind of hang out in this general area. So again, if you ever have issues and you definitely absolutely have to talk to a moderator or developer or something like that, they might be somewhere in this general vicinity because for whatever reason, they kind of just hang out in this area. I'm not really sure why they do. I'm not sure if it's because it's like more centered to the whole game or like how it works or whatever, but that's where they hang out. So I just ended up calling it the dev pool area, and I'm pretty sure other people started calling it that too, maybe even before me, and I just kind of picked up on it without realizing it. Then we have this little stretch over here. I should have done this one a minute ago, but this little area right here by the sign is kind of like town square, if I'm not mistaken, like this whole section. But then you also have this section right here, right above the bakery, which stretches from this path, like pretty much this huge dirt path going all the way over from the bakery all the way over to like this general area somewhere here, right here. I don't really have a name for it, but it is the #1 place you'll see things like this bread line and stuff like that. So I guess you could call it the line path or something like that, right? It is the general area people would normally make a bread line or a banana line or a knife line. I think people have used like ropes and stuff like that before as well, and like all kinds of things. People, bananas, I don't know if I mentioned that one a second ago, but all these different kinds of lines and stuff like that, people usually put it somewhere in this general area, so it's just kind of like a big line. And well, there you have it. Those are different locations on the map that I've personally named or named some specific thing. So there you go. There's some more Ponytown lingo for you, even if you wanted to look at it like that. But those are kind of different locations and names that I have for them and stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative or helpful in some way, and stuff like that. Oh, one more thing. I forgot about this. But this rock right here is called the Lewd Rock. The Lewd Rock. People used to do weird things with it for some reason. Like I always hang out in this spot right here, and every now and again someone would come up to the rock and do something really fucking weird with it. So I just ended up calling it the Lewd Rock, and I don't know if anyone else ended up naming it that or what, if it caught on or what, but that's what I ended up calling it. But yeah, there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.